We've got the British Bulldog
Yep.
in the ring with the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase.
Yep.
Rick, go ahead.
I've never really seen this pack either. I've certainly seen clips of it, but, the thing that makes it different than a lot of the other Rumbles is anybody that was anybody ever in the WWE. Actually, someone told me the other day, there are 11 guys from this match in the Hall of Fame, which I had never even thought about that, but there sure are. DiBiase, of course, in the Hall of Fame and one of the great performers of all time. Davey Boy, who left us way too early, I thought was a tremendous performer as well. So here we are, and the theme, when somebody comes in every minute, I think I came in third, and is typical of my usual performance, all I did was feed guys all night long. I don't have enough offense for an hour, but I can certainly take the bumps. So
Rick, do you think this is maybe your second, or one of your top two most talked about WWF matches? It's got to be this, and then the WrestleMania match with Shawn, right, as your two most talked about?
I think so. At the time, I didn't realize, exactly what all it meant. To me, it was just another day at work. But I was with a whole bunch of different people that I knew, of course, from over the years. I've known Ted forever and wrestled Ted not only in the NWA, but wrestled him up there with the WWE at that time. But Ted and I remain very close to this day. Tremendous performer. And, of course, Davey Boy, I think that by not too far from saying is one of the best matches I ever saw in my life. Was Davey Boy against Brett in London at SummerSlam.
Yeah, later this year.
There I go. DiBiase just said to me, I'll meet you in the bar after the match. See, I just look back. I'm going, okay.
At this point, DiBiase had been pretty hot for the previous handful of years in the WWF, too.
Yeah, well, he had my gimmick. He's $1 Million Man. They should have given that gimmick to me.
Boy, I still think
threw
that's
enough
your best
money around.
ever.
I wish someone would give me some of theirs to throw around.
Yeah, that should have been your gimmick, the $1 Million Man.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, so I think that's your best robe ever. Where'd that robe wind up?
That robe is in Darius Rucker's basement,
That's
hanging in a glass case.
I'm jealous of Darius.
Yeah, he bought that in 1999.
Mr. Perfect's with you here.
Yep.
How long had or what was the plan for pairing Perfect with you? Just to eventually lead to a feud, or at this point had he already cashed in his Lloyd's of London deal?
No, he was right there in that Lloyd's of London mode, and he'd been doing commentary and stuff. But he, here we go again. See, my usual. Yeah, but what happened was Bobby refused to manage me, and so they talked Kurt into it. Kurt had no problem. Kurt and I got along very well.
But what do you think the thinking was there, that people may cheer you and they knew that he was already an established heel, and that way they could make sure that you were positioned as a heel?
To be honest with you, I think at that point in time, I think they thought that I would get a rub from Kurt because he'd been on their TV for a long time. And I had been down, with Turner and WCW, and the network. We didn't get nearly the saturation network-wise because the cable wasn't that concentrated out on the West Coast. So I think they put us together because we were a good team together.
Right.
But I also think that they hoped Kurt would give me a little rub and a little notoriety.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, here comes one of your favorites. The Nasty Boys, Jimmy Hart. Yeah. Yeah, Albany, New York, Knickerbocker Arena at the time.
What you got any good hanging out with Jerry Sag stories? We hear you talk about Brian Knobs all the time, but
they're one and the same. One and the same. Actually, Jerry's a little bit more in control, but a great guy. A lot of fun. He's got a beautiful family. One of his daughters played Division I sport at Notre Dame, and he's got grandkids now and everything. It's hard to believe.
Wow. Grandpa Nasty
punch.
Boy.
What a punch. And there goes the Woo. I'm right now just catching my breath because I know Sags isn't going to jump on me. Well, I can't remember who's coming out next. It is kind of fun watching us back.
So you haven't seen this since it happened?
I'm sure I've seen parts of it, but I've never watched the entire thing, no.
So, the British Bulldog is obviously prominently featured in this match. Mm-hmm. Had you worked with him in another territory
Never.
At this point?
No, okay. First time. We, of course, had met, but I'd never worked with him. I'm just trying to talk some reason into him now. Yeah, he actually was a really good performer.
Yeah, I don't think that history remembers him as much as I do, anyway, as a kid.
Uh-oh. Here comes the baddest man alive. Make no mistake about that. The toughest wrestler in the history of our business. Now and probably forever.
And at this point, would this been the first time you would have worked with him, too?
No, I'd worked with him in Puerto Rico in the 80s.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I've known Tonga forever. And in Japan, because he was, he was in a dojo for Baba at the age of 14.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, and you watch me, I'm not fighting back with him either. if I am, he's not buying it.
That's hilarious.
When I'm backing up from him, it's real. You have no idea. He's not. You want to have him over your house, but you don't want to bring anybody over because he's a cannibal. He'll eat all your neighbors.
That's hilarious. Eat your neighbors.
Yeah, Arn calls him the human Vegematic. See, he could really perform though, because a lot of guys couldn't do that jumping pile driver like that.
That was a fantastic pile driver.
Yeah, he and Orndorff were only a couple of guys that could do it that well, where you knew you were safe. You know what I mean?
So, hey, let me ask you, we've talked about it on the show before, but not everybody's probably listened to every episode. You found out, it's not a spoiler, it's 26 years ago, or 24 years ago. You found out you were winning this earlier this same day, right?
Not till I got to the building. Somebody told me, Jake Roberts told me at that gym in the morning, I thought he was just kidding me. I thought, how would Jake Roberts know? I mean,
right.
No offense to Jake, I just thought, how would he know?
Right.
And then I got to the building, and they told me. I had no idea.
Do you think this is probably Pat Patterson's greatest creation?
It was his idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here, look at this. Here comes the man.
Shawn Michaels on his way to the ring.
Yep.
You just look at who's already been in the ring so far.
Yeah.
Ted DiBiase, Haku, British Bulldog, a Nasty Boy, and now Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels. So when did you know that Shawn was going to be the man? Did you know at this point?
Oh, I could tell. I went right there. I knew him. And make no mistake, that kid can work, boy. I mean, he was fabulous back then. Boom. He just, great position, great psychology, of just a phenomenal. See, unlike very similar to my style, he was a guy that could take big bumps from guys, and if you look at it, the Bulldog's getting the feat of a lifetime right here.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So, yeah, and a wonderful guy, and guys, the friendship and the relationship and the fun we had over the years wrestling each other was just fabulous. This is when he was still one of the Rockers.
I think he had just broken up with the Rockers.
Oh, had he?
Here.
Okay.
Yeah, he had just turned heel, and I think he had Sherry with him at this point, and he was trying to do his own thing. So let me ask you, I know that this match has to be laid out a lot differently than a regular match, of course, just because of the concept. But do the guys know, like, when they're going out, like, this person's going to put you out about this long, or is that even discussed?
Oh, yeah, of course. It has to be because of the time frame. Yeah.
But that's really a lot.
Yeah, but I
together.
don't remember that lasting so long that, we sat there for 3 hours doing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think that they relied a lot more on the guy's ability than they do now in terms of, framing the match and finding the time and the place and what you were going to do. And, like you can say, basically all I do, which is something I was good at, is just feed the guys coming in, and it works.
Tito Santana, you got any Tito memories? We haven't talked about him much on the show.
No, I just really like Tito a lot. I've wrestled him. He's from Texas, Mission, Texas. Hell of an athlete. I haven't seen him in a while, but a great guy, good person in the ring. He was in Charlotte for a while. And then, of course, he'd been up there. He had a great run up there. And I believe now he's teaching school and coaching at somewhere up in New York.
So, would he have went straight from Crockett up there, or did he go somewhere else in between?
Yeah, he was with Crockett and us and Steamboat, and then he went right up there.
So you've talked about before, you didn't think you were a big draw in New York. I love the low blow. You didn't know that you were a big draw in New York. Would this have been a good-sized crowd here, or would they have had... I mean, were these fans as familiar with who you were, since at this point you'd only been in the WWF, 6 months? Less than that, 3 months? Less than that,
3 months. They know who I was. I didn't mean New York knew who I was. It wasn't that. I just don't think that I was, unless you're not on their TV at this time. Remember, this was before Raw. This was just when they were making syndicated TV, NBC with Dick Ebersol and all that. So I just hadn't had that kind of exposure. But the fans knew who I was, and this building was completely sold out, 18,000 people.
Barbarian,
here he comes.
Barbarian is still actually working a lot of indies. Does he live in the Carolinas? Because I see him on a lot of cards there.
Yeah, he lives in Charlotte. Yep.
Okay.
Sandy works for US Air. Great guy. Look at what a powerhouse. There wasn't a day in a week he couldn't bench press 500 pounds. Phenomenally strong.
Going back and looking at these old matches, is this something where you kind of remember what you were thinking at the time, or is it just so automatic at this point in your career that there's really no thought given? You just know what to do and where to be?
I'd have to say at this point in time, it's just so automatic.
Yeah.
The thing that we're not quite at that point yet in the match. The important thing about these kind of matches, in terms of safety and position yourself, is knowing where everybody else is in the ring. Mm-hmm. Because it's really easy. Not at this point. There's only like 5 of us there, but it's very easy to get lost when there's 20 people in the ring, and go flying into somebody that can either cause you to be injured or the other guy doesn't see it coming.
Yeah, I've heard guys talk about battle royals, and essentially that's what this is, just a slightly different twist.
Uh-huh.
And they have a different. I mean, I guess there's 2 schools of thought. There's the school of thought of, hey, it's like a night off. It's no big deal. I love them. And the other thought is, I hate them. They're a cluster. I wish I was just in a regular match. Mm-hmm. Which one of those would you land on, do you think?
Well, in this particular case, I'd have to say it was far from a cluster, because there was guys that knew what they were doing. I've been in some with a lot of people that had no clue what they were doing. So this particular event was great. And, of course, here comes one of my foes for years. And as a matter of fact, I dropped the title to Kerry. So this kid was a physical specimen, boy.
He looks phenomenal here.
Yeah. He's about to give me the discus punch. Boop. Whoa. Time to do the Gordon. Yeah. He had a lot of fire, boy. Look at this good looking Shawn just took one.
That was hilarious.
Yeah. Shawn
I don't know that we've talked about it before. I mean, I know you and I have, but maybe not on the show. Your flop, walking out a couple of feet and just planting. Where did that come about?
I don't know. I just came up with it one day. I'd watched Johnny Valentine just fall flat from a standing position.
Right.
So I just thought I'd add a little more entertainment to it. And as my skills declined, I got more entertaining with it as I got older.
Well, it was hilarious every time. It was awesome.
Isn't it amazing that some people say to me, well, I hate it when you didn't do the flop in the match. It's like that was the marquee move.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. You begging off, nut-shotting people, flopping, chopping, running up to the top rope and never making it. I mean, people want to see the routine, man.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I mean, look who's in the ring right now. I see why people really like this match. I mean, British Bulldog, Shawn Michaels, Tito, Rick, Kerry, and the Barbarian. This is all... I mean, all of those guys are big-time draws in their own right.
Uh-oh, the Repo Man.
Okay, now listen.
Barry Darso.
I know you love Barry, and I know that Barry is a very good performer, but coming from Crockett, you've got to think this Repo Man character is the dumbest shit ever.
I wasn't sure, but I was glad that Barry had a good job, and he made it work. After this, he went to Demolition with Bill Eadie, which was, I think, fairly successful. I mean, those guys had a real good run. This
is actually right after Demolition. Demolition had just finished up.
Oh, is that what it is? Well, see, that's why I need you on the podcast. And I've already told everyone you're one of the most knowledgeable people in wrestling. I was there.
Edie was gone.
I don't remember the components sometimes. What's funny is to see Barry Darso sneaking around at 320 pounds. Repo Man.
Yeah, Jim Cornette made a great point once about the sneak and like the crouch. He's like, that's the way every Japanese heel worked in the 60s and 70s and 80s.
Exactly.
I never really thought about that, but he was spot on.
Mitsu Arakawa, Kenji Shibuya. Yeah. I used to smack Kerry. He liked to get hit.
It's a shame you two didn't get a chance to work together in the WWF for the title. That would have been really cool.
Yeah. Well, just a lot of personal issues with him at that point in his life, So
right.
But it's amazing that at this point, I'm not sure whether he's lost his foot or not, but I think he has.
Yeah, he has.
And he's still getting around like there's absolutely nothing wrong with him.
Yeah, he's not selling it.
Which just is a credit to his athletic ability. Here comes the hammer. Uh-oh. Everybody's about to get potatoed right now. Boom. Darso the first. Boom. Here he comes after me. And Shawn. Boom. Boom. Here we go.
I know you were tight with his dad. What was your relationship like with Greg?
Oh, we were real tight. Yeah, we were real tight. We were partners for 3 years.
Boy, they're really enjoying chopping Ric Flair.
Yeah, they are. There's that forearm.
So, how many Rumbles have you been in? I know you were in this one. Do you remember how many others you were in? I know you were in
I must have been in. I've probably been in 5 or 6, I think. Right?
I should know that, but I don't know. I know that your first one when you were back with the company is the one where you wrestled Vince in Atlanta, and you did the picture gimmick with the kids ringside, which was awesome.
With Megan and Reed.
Reed.
Yeah. But I actually wasn't in the Rumble that night. I just went that singles match with Vince. Yeah. So I know I was in one because I was in that program with Hunter in Miami that was real good.
Oh yeah.
But I was never in for any length of time.
So when you find out you're getting the win here and you're going to be the champ, Who comes and conveys that to you? Does Vince come and have a little one-on-one and say, we're going with you? Or does
Vince and Pat.
Cool.
I mean, I had no idea. It just caught me so off guard. I didn't even know what to say.
Here comes Nikolai.
Mm-hmm.
Was he mostly a Northeast guy, or had you worked with him before?
I had never worked with him. I've always gotten along with him well, but he was never NWA.
Right.
He was down in Tampa for a while. I take that back. He actually started out in Florida before he went up there, but the majority of his career was up there.
Yeah, he's on the downswing here.
Yeah.
Probably coming in from the WWF. And
yeah, I'm trying to think. I haven't seen him in a couple of years, but he used to come to the Manias and that.
He still does Comic Cons, or not Comic Cons, but the Fan Fest type thing.
Oh, does he?
In the Northeast.
Yeah, I didn't know for sure if he was or not.
So, hey, there's not really a good spot for me to interject this, but the talk is AJ Styles is signing with the WWE, and there's a big debate about how they will debut him. Two-part question, I guess. One, would you debut him in the Royal Rumble, or would you wait and do it separately if you had the book?
Gosh, if I had the book, I would debut him on something huge, and would be the Rumble. I mean, you're not going to get a better audience. The Orlando has been sold out for 2 months,
right,
or 3 months. Holds 18,000 people, and I think the buzz for the Rumble is huge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
AJ is a great kid. I like him very much. If it's true he's coming, I'm happy for him. I haven't heard that it's true, but I've heard the same speculation you have. But if he is, he'll be a nice addition.
Well, it's true. His last appearance is for Ring of Honor this weekend in Duluth, over near neck of the woods. He's doing a autograph signing. Big Boss Man's in.
Yeah. There's the Big Boss Man. Ray Traylor.
Yeah, and Ray Traylor is a guy who Vince really did a good job with because he left you guys, Valentine's out. Mm-hmm. He left you guys and came up here, and then they almost right away programmed him in main events on house show loops with Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, and guess what? They drew huge. That was one of the best. You can ask Hulk. One of the biggest drawing feuds in the history of Hogan's title runs. Look at Barry sneaking up on me. 300 pounds. Jeez.
And he's gone.
Just to see him in that character kills me. I've seen that guy sit in an inner tube and drink 55 beers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you'd have been proud of me last night. I haven't nached much in the new year, and I nached with a capital N last night.
Well, somehow I got that impression when you called me this morning and said you weren't going to make it into the studio. I think you tried to blame your friend, but I know when you're naching.
I was naching.
And if I have to hear that woman's voice on your voicemail one more time, I'm going to vomit. I'm going to leave you voicemail when I see you tomorrow.
I love that.
Hey, this
Bulldog
is the Nature Boy Ric Flair, Conrad's private assistant. He'll call you when he feels like it. Till then, tell your story walking.
Woo!
Woo!
I love that. So you just eliminated British Bulldog and the Texas Tornado, Kerry Von Erich. So now we're getting down to the nitty-gritty, so to speak. We're down to just 5. Tito, Shawn, Big Boss Man, Barbarian. And actually, there went Shawn and Tito. So we're down to just 3. Another entrant coming out. And there it is, Hercules.
Yeah, gosh, another guy that I knew forever.
Herc, from what I hear, was hilarious. Do you have any good Hercules stories?
Not really. I mean, I socialized with him, but he was just, he was a pretty quiet guy. A lot of fun. Health issues later in life that, you just hate to hear that anybody has. But a good guy. Good guy. He was in the Kansas City territory for Harley. He was with us in the NWA. Whoa, another one. Didn't know Barb had that in him.
I loved the way you teased a high five. He gave it to you, and then as soon as he turns around, you chop him. That was awesome.
You have no idea how strong Barbarian is. Jeez, it's amazing.
There he goes. Hurt put him out.
Yeah. See, those are the kind of things that I thought looked real good in that match.
Oh no, I agree.
Yeah.
Now, Boss Man looks like he was out, but he's back in. Flair's begging off again for the 14th time. Thumb to the eye. The classic. Lots of people, who were in the business say that Ray Traylor was one of the best big men of all time. And he could move around like nobody's business.
Yep.
Oh, wow, look at that kick.
Yeah. No, really agile. Very limber for a big guy.
Oh, he almost took his head off going over the top there.
Mm-hmm. He could really perform at a high level.
And so now, Rick, you're all by yourself. And
just another Gordon, just to keep the fans entertained.
Absolutely, got to.
Gosh, when I see my hair like that, it makes me want to kill myself for letting her talk me into cutting it. Jeez. Just starting to grow back there.
Oh, look
at this. This is fabulous right here.
Oh, this is good stuff.
Yeah.
Roddy Piper on his way to the ring. And look at the fans, man.
Yeah.
They are ready for this. Piper was in good shape there.
Yeah.
Big backdrop, big knee lift. Boy, you're selling your ass off right there, boy. On the floor, why not?
The hot rod. The best. Well, I tell you, with him, it was just so much fun. We're probably, he knows tells me, right? Excuse me, Sting.
Oh.
Look at him. Boom. Oh, wait till he starts giving me the left and right.
That's awesome.
One of the all-time greats, guys, and what a tragedy this year. He stole my gimmick.
Oh, my gosh.
Giving me the fingers in the eyes. Like he's big enough to give anybody a clothesline. That's ridiculous. Now he's going to give me the airplane spin. I said, what are you doing? Because he, like me, hadn't been to bed for 3 days. Had so much fun with that guy. Mm. You know, and the irony of Wendy and I getting to do wife swap with him 2 years ago, with he and Kitty, you know, and having that week with them in private time, and you know, and then the horrible, you know, happening this past year. What a great guy, and what a huge, huge star in our business.
Yeah, you can hear your love and your love for him in your voice when you talk about him. Right there.
What can I say? Great guy.
Another WWF staple, Jake the Snake.
Great talent. Look at Jake.
This was great by Jake. I love this. Because that makes sense. Like, if two guys are beating each other up, why interfere? Just let them do it. Have you seen Jake's new movie, The Resurrection of Jake the Snake?
I have not. I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it. Is it
I
good?
watched it, and it's very good. Yes, sir.
Is it really good?
It's really good.
Is Scott Hall in that, too?
Scott Hall is in there, and, man, the transformation in Scott is maybe even more amazing than in Jake. I mean, to see the before and after of those guys is really incredible. DDP did a fantastic job helping those two fellows.
Well, good. You know, I've heard about it. Even Steve Austin put it over, so I figured that'd be pretty good.
Yeah, I've got it. Next time you're at the Conrad, we'll check it out.
Jake just had a hip replacement. Yeah,
Jake had some surgeries, and I think Scott did too, both, in the last couple of years.
Yeah. Well, I know Scott's got a heart ailment, which I wasn't aware of.
Yeah, he's on a pacemaker.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I love the idea behind you putting in a figure 4 in a damn battle royal right here.
Anything to get a pop.
I mean, yeah, because you can legally hold the ropes and nobody can stop you. I mean, why not? It's great.
Look, we're all just teeing off on each other.
I love that.
That's what's good.
That's what's great about the Rumble.
Yeah. Yeah, you look at these people. There's everybody in that ring right now is a Hall of Fame guy. Here comes another Hall of Fame guy. The Hacksaw Man.
Jim Duggan. What was Duggan like to work with?
Well, you know something? He was really over, so it was easy. But, I mean, I wrestled Jim, God only knows, 200 or 300 times. He's not Ricky Steamboat, but he was over, right? But when I was when I worked with him in Mid-South, I had to wrestle him for an hour. That was a long night.
Yeah.
So many times you can go, whoa. But real good guy, a hell of an athlete. He played for the Falcons, captain of SMU. He was actually captain of the team that Craig James and Eric Dickerson were on. So,
is he the only thing of note to come from Glen Falls?
Well, his dad was the chief of police. Look at Roddy. Teeing off on him.
Yeah, what you said a minute ago is right. Everybody in the ring right now is a Hall of Famer.
Yep. Yeah, someone made a statement to me yesterday, or 2 days ago, when I was telling them about your concept for the show this week, and they said there's 11 Hall of Fame guys in that ring, in this thing. So there's 4 right there. Shawn was 5. DiBiase was 6. Boss Man is Boss Man in the Hall of Fame?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
And I think he will be. I just don't think he is yet because they only put in somebody that passed away.
Yeah. I'm just going to let Jim punch himself out there.
Rope-a-dope. Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, look at there.
IRS.
What a great story that's become with all the wrestling in that family, and it's still going on now.
Yeah, how about that guy right there being a 2-time All-American in 2 different sports at Syracuse University? Isn't that amazing? Football and
amazing.
Wrestling. Yep. And he played at Syracuse when they had some players. I mean, I don't know how that program went from Jimmy Brown to where it's at now. You know what I mean? But look at the guys: John Mackey, Floyd Little, Ernie Davis. I mean, geez.
Have you talked to him about whether or not he encouraged Bray and Bo to go into the business or not?
Oh, I talk to him about it all the time. He didn't have to encourage him. They were dying to get into it. And both of them have real good amateur backgrounds,
Yeah. Yeah, Bray actually played ball here in Alabama at Troy.
At Troy, yep. He sure did. I just did the Gordon again to catch my breath.
I don't think a lot of fans understand how big of a deal IRS is these present days for WWE and what all he does as an agent for them.
Oh, he's fabulous. I mean, all those guys have an incredibly difficult job that requires so much time, in their private life as well, because the job never ends. But he's, Mike's been there for a long time, and he deserves it. And both those boys are phenomenal. Now his daughter is going to become an announcer, hopefully. She's at NXT right now, and hopefully she'll make it. But she's a beautiful girl. And, he's married to Blackjack Mulligan's daughter. How cool is that?
That's very cool.
I mean, I've known this whole family for so long. Here comes Jimbo. I've wrestled him 1,000 times.
And that would have first been in Crockett back in the day, right?
No, first in Minneapolis.
Wow,
he was in Minneapolis with me. He in Morocco started about 2 years ahead of me.
At this point, would you have ever imagined that he would have been back with the WWF, considering what all had happened?
Well, here's the deal. Once again, I need your time frame and your help on this. Had that thing happened with the girl already?
Yeah, it had.
Okay, I didn't know. So, if I did, I don't remember. So, what did he get fired for a brief period of time after that?
Yeah, I mean, he got ran off a couple of times from what I remember. I know Pritchard told us a story about how they had to go rescue him from some desert country with machine guns in the middle of the night, like a SEAL Team 6 type rescue.
Yeah.
He gotten jammed up over there. So I know he had several incidents that caused Vince and them heartache, but he always came back.
Yeah, Jimmy was fearless, man. Jimmy was fearless. He, most of those island guys are. But make no. Look at Roddy.
I love that.
He's trying to throw my nose out. No, but Jimmy could work. I mean, when he was on, Jimmy Snuka could really perform.
Here's a random question, but as Jake's trying to get you out, I can see it. I've had a couple of dudes on Twitter, and this never even crossed my mind, but they want to know what was the knot on your back? Did you ever get that looked at, or what was that?
Well, the knot's been removed at this point. That's just scar tissue. It's still there. That's a result of the airplane crash.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I started landing on my left-hand side, and I got that calcification. They thought I had cancer. When they opened me up, the guy says to me, if I find out it's cancer, I just have to take your shoulder off. And I said, I don't think that's going to work. If there's something down there that's more than what we find out it is, you can wake me up. We'll discuss that thing about taking my shoulder off. That's kind of the way I went into surgery. That was back in 1979, because when I started back working after I'd had the broken back, I couldn't get myself to land flat, so I just started landing, and right up to the time I retired, I was landing on my left shoulder. There he is, the big man. Probably the most famous, either here's Stone Cold, most famous components in the history of the company.
So the kind of backstory to this angle is at Survivor Series 1991, The Undertaker beat Hulk Hogan with a tombstone. Flair slid the chair in underneath. Mm-hmm. Undertaker's the champion. They do the rematch at Tuesday night in Texas. Hogan wins it back. The president, quote-unquote, Jack Tunney, then holds the belt up and says that the new champion will be crowned at the Royal Rumble. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting that as soon as The Undertaker gets in, he goes after Snuka, takes him out, and then goes right to you, which seemingly would have been his ally.
Look at Roddy. Yeah, but the theme of this is that there are no allies.
Sure.
And that's what makes it cool. What's funny about, look at him. He didn't sell nothing for me. We're all trying to beat him up. He's got us all.
Now, you had first worked with him as Mean Mark in the NWA, is that right?
Yeah, just one time, though. I don't remember. He was in a tag team thing with, here comes Mach, man. Another Hall of Famer. We grounded him. Couldn't let Mach get going.
Look who's in the ring right now. I mean, Jake just out, but are these back in? Hacksaw, Piper, Flair, Macho, Undertaker, IRS.
Yeah.
It's a big-time crew right there.
Yeah. Yeah, Taker's, the Taker will be in the Hall of Fame whenever he decides he wants to retire, so.
If these guys were to go drinking after the Rumble tonight, what would the bar tab be?
This particular crew right here? Oh, my gosh. Is Roddy still in there?
Roddy's in there. Mach is in there.
Oh, let me see. Roddy.
Taker, Jake, Rick.
Well, here would be the components of the bar tab. Taker, me, Piper, Taker, me, and Piper. Randy would come around. I don't think Randy would throw $5 on top of the check, but
that's hilarious. I'm pretty sure Jake could have put away some back in this day.
Yeah, I don't remember. I didn't drink with Jake that much. He wasn't known for that as much. He liked other stuff, which is probably documented in his movie.
Sure.
But Piper could, he was, and Taker, if there was a bottle of Jack Daniels to be found anywhere, it was gone. I've never gotten that gargling Jack. I've never gotten that.
Oh, I don't understand that.
Oh, and don't forget that Kurt Hennig is there, right? The king of gargling Jack. So I'm sure we did something big that night. Look at Roddy. Looks like I'm in a ring with Ingemar Johansson.
And Roddy has not slowed down in this match. He is
I know. For a guy that hadn't been to bed probably in a month, he's doing pretty damn good.
Man, how great was The Undertaker at this character right away?
Oh, unbelievable.
Knows where the camera is, rolling his eyes back in his head.
Yeah.
He's one of a kind.
Hearing Pritchard tell that story about how it worked out for him is just amazing. I mean, and to see it to this day, I mean, unbelievable. Greatest entrance in the history of the business.
Oh, sure.
Ding.
So at this point, would it be safe to say that the referees around the ring are kind of keeping up with who's supposed to be doing what? Or are they really just there for kayfabe purposes about, his feet touched?
Oh, I just got the Taker to sell a little bit. Not a whole lot. The Berserker, John Nord, oh my God. You know the story about when we were in SummerSlam over in Europe. I mentioned that earlier about Davey Boy and Brett in that great match.
Yeah.
The Nord and the Hawk of the Road Warriors, Mike Hagstrom, they just joined up a motorcycle gang and never came back for a month.
That's hilarious.
They never came back. And Nord was from Minneapolis. Next time I saw him, he was selling cars. He and Hawk just got up with these motorcycle guys after SummerSlam and didn't make the plane home and didn't come back for a month.
Wow. So they're obviously, with the boots and the beard and all that with the Berserker, they're really trying to mimic Brody, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, but it was hard. There's only one Brody. I mean, John was a big, strong guy and all that, but Brody was a different kind of cat.
What do you think Vince would have done with Brody had he actually come up?
I don't know, because I don't know that they would have gotten along very well.
Right.
Frank did his own thing, and he was so focused on, where he made his big money in Japan. Those guys were making, I tell people these stories, and I think they think I'm making it up, but Brody and Hanson were making, when it first started, like $12,000 a week. And I heard at the end they were making close to 18 or 20. You can ask Johnny Ace. For 45 weeks a year. Think about it. Or for 35 weeks a year. Think about that. That's a lot of money.
Oh, that's an incredible amount of money.
Yeah, but they sold out when those guys were tag team partners against Jumbo and Saruda and Baba. I mean, they sold out every night, everywhere.
Virgil's in the ring. Virgil has become a little bit of a social media sensation now. I think he's got the same handlers as the Iron Sheik, so he's trying to be a little over-the-top X-rated comedy. Do you
really
have any fun memories of going to the Olive Garden with Virgil?
Actually, not. No, he was another guy. He was with Ted, but he didn't come out much at night. He wasn't a big social guy.
So at this point, Rick, after the Rumble, would you have went home, or would there have been shows the next day, which would have been a Monday, I believe? But, I mean, there wouldn't have been house shows on a Monday, right?
The next day, let me think. The night before the Rumble, I wrestled Hogan in Boston. So Monday, I wish I could tell you. I want to say we went to Montreal or something after this. I can't tell you for sure. I'll ask someone this weekend just because I'm curious. But, you have to remember that the guys forget we were working every day back then.
Right. Yeah,
I mean, we had wrestling Mondays, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, twice on Saturday, twice on Sunday. WE didn't do that as much as NWA did, but for a while they figured out they could do that, Is that twice on Saturday and twice on Sunday made it a long week.
Yeah, I just looked it up, and it would have been on a Sunday, so the next day would have been Monday the 20th. It's pretty cool that we're doing this week, too, because this week is the 24-year anniversary. It actually happened on January 19th, and we're actually taping this on the 22nd. So we're really, really close. Next year will be the 25th anniversary of this match. Time flies, doesn't it, man?
Yeah, and I apologize to the fans right now for us doing this so late in the week, but I have been WWEing with my daughter, and then had 2 personal appearances, so it's the first day I've been back at home and able to get in the studio, but I think they'll enjoy this. It's a little different.
Oh, it's super fun. I just realized as Undertaker was trying to put you out there, I have one of your boots from this match.
You do?
I didn't realize that, but yeah, that red and black, the way the toes cut off.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Look at me and Rod still hanging in there.
Still having a good time.
Yeah. God, what a great guy.
So the Iron Sheik was just in. Surely you've got some good Iron Sheik stories from back
I broke in with him. Are you kidding? Me and Cosgrove started together with Vern in '72. I know the Sheik very well. He's so banged up now, though. I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
He's making some money, being silly, but God, I'll never forget when they inducted him in L.A. the same year they inducted Hogan. He was hollering, like, I should have broke the jabroni's leg. When they had Hulk beat him, remember?
Sure.
Yeah, because Vern Gagne, called, this is a story I've been told, whether it's true or not, I don't know, but the story is Vern called the Sheik and said, I'll give you $100 or $100,000 to break his leg, instead of dropping the title to him. So, yeah. I don't know if that story is true or not, but
it's out there, though. I mean, people have talked about that.
Yeah. So here comes Rick Martell. This kid right here is a phenomenal performer. I asked someone the other day what he's doing, and he's just one of those guys that walked away from the business and doesn't want to be near it again. They're trying to. He lives in Montreal. He's got some real estate, and he's happy. And they invited him to WrestleMania, and he said he wasn't interested. So
he's got to be one of the great success stories of wrestling now. He got in, made some money.
Yeah.
Kept himself in great shape, didn't get jammed up too bad, got out and got into another industry, and enjoyed his time for what it was.
Yep, for sure. He was very close to Roddy. I actually was surprised I didn't see Martell at Roddy's funeral, because he was very close to Roddy.
Do you remember him coming into WCW towards the end?
Rick Martell?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I wrestled him when he was AWA champion. And I was NWA champion. I wrestled him in Tokyo one time. That was another mistake they made. They made 2 mistakes with me and Americans. They put me over there one night for an hour with Steamboat in Tokyo, and another time for an hour with Rick Martell. Martell could really go. And, the Japanese, as much as they didn't like our style of work at that time, they had a hard time not liking that moment. It was that good. Yeah, Martell could really perform.
Just saw Hebner walk past the screen. You're closer with Earl than Dave, right?
I'm equally close to both of them. Dave's in real bad health. I don't see Dave much. I've saw him once last year. I talked to Earl and his son, once every couple of months. God, had some good time with those guys. That's one of the strangest things. I even asked that story again a couple weeks ago, because all of a sudden to have the Hebners gone, I mean, here comes the golden goose, man. This guy was over big time.
Oh, look at the crowd, man.
Yeah, you kidding me? Boom.
right after Undertaker and Ric Flair.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, he was over. Got a heck of a crew going on right there.
Yeah, so this is where you were talking earlier with this many guys. You got to be careful or you'll get lost.
Exactly.
Because there's a lot of guys in there.
Well, it's not getting lost as much as where you're going to throw somebody. You got to make sure you know where you're at so you can land. Like, normally I might have taken a slam off the top right here, but you never know where someone's going to be, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, see right here where
Duggan is almost in the way.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Hager just got mad.
Berserker's gone. Taker's gone. Hulkamania's running wild, brother.
Listen to this crowd, boy. They're insane right now.
Going after Martell with the T-shirt around the throat. That's pretty cool.
See, I mean, that's another example. See that? Where Martell just missed Virgil, yeah. You just got to be careful.
Virgil and Hacksaw out. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty now. Hogan, Flair, Piper, IRS. Over in the other corner, Martell and Macho now back on the screen. We're ticking down. I think I know who this one is just by process of elimination. Nope, I was wrong. Skinner. Mm-hmm. Steve Kern. Yep. You had some... You had to have had some good memories with Steve Kern over the years. Oh, God, down in the Florida territory, yeah. Still do. He and his wife, Terry, are good friends of mine. I haven't seen him in probably 6 months, but he was there when Ashley was training at FCW. FCW, yeah. Yeah, Steve's a great guy. So what's his role with the company now? I know he was kind of running FCW, but since that's not really a thing anymore, do you know what he's doing now? I have no idea. I'll have to ask that because I'm curious. See where Tando's taking bumps there, and you just got to know where you're going. Yeah. And keep an eye on everybody. It's so interesting to look back and see how so many of the WWF characters back then were really like occupational characters. I mean, You've got IRS, and you've got Skinner and Rick the Model. I mean, so you've got all these different occupational gimmicks. And then you've got some guys who don't have that. Roddy Piper, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan. And their run was probably probably something to that. Occupational character, not necessarily going to get you the big run. Yeah, it's kind of like, that was the deal. Everybody was a character. Right. Like Honky Tonk. I mean, it's just the whole thing. But it worked, and it certainly worked in their marketing strategy because those guys we weren't making a dime, in marketing the NWA. I mean, if we were, we never saw it. And if there was something that could have been marketed, it was the Four Horsemen, most definitely, my guy. Sure. And Dusty Rhodes, Here comes. Sarge, another Hall of Famer. We got to get him on the show. We get a lot of requests. There's more than 11 guys. There's got to be. We'll see Sarge out at Mania. Yeah, we got to get him. We have lots and lots of requests for him. Yeah. And you had worked with him for Crockett and here. Did you work with him in Minnesota as well? No, he started the year after me. Yeah, he's a 73 boy. This is around the time he's got the deal with G.I. Joe, which was a really big deal at the time. Mm-hmm. Hogan and Piper. Timeless. It never, ever gets old.
they're no selling each other. They're not doing that.
That's a refusal.
Yeah,
Nobody's giving anybody anything.
Nothing. So much easier just to go down.
I knew a girl like that. Look who's in the ring right now. Sergeant Slaughter, Ric Flair, IRS, Macho Man, Martell, Roddy Piper, and Hulk Hogan. That's a pretty big-time crew.
Yep.
I see why this is regarded as one of your favorite, or one of the fans' favorite matches of yours. I mean, I hear this. Obviously, I hear people talk about the trilogy and with Steamboat, and I hear lots of talk about the Funk I Quit match at the Clash. But this and the Shawn Michaels match that you retired with at WrestleMania 24 have to be your two most famous WWF matches.
I guess, yeah. I mean, in the eyes of the people,
yeah.
You know, I thought I had some really good matches with Brett as well. You know, and of course I did with Roddy.
With Hunter, you had some phenomenal matches.
Oh, Hunter and those guys, yeah. Here comes Big Sid. He's rolling in.
So, hey, here's a question for you. Would you, what was your relationship like with him after the whole Arn incident?
Oh, we never talked. Never talked.
Are y'all crossed now, or?
Well, I haven't seen him in years. Yep. I have no idea what he's doing.
Do you know if he and Arn ever patched everything up?
I don't know the answer to that. If I were going to take a guess, I would say no. You know, that was just ridiculous. You know, one of the times I was lucky enough to be in bed, and you know, just to wake up to that, finding out that went down. You know, there's no need for that.
Were you there when he had the incident with Pillman and a squeegee?
Who's that?
Sid.
What was that about?
I don't know. Supposedly there was a fight in a bar, and somebody brought in a squeegee as a weapon, and I thought that was pretty phenomenal.
Who brought? I mean, who won the fight?
Well, I don't think Sid's ever won a shoot fight based on wrestling lore. Everybody always says that there's a weapon involved, and it doesn't always go his way. But I don't know. I just that the talk is he really had a lot of heat with all the guys, but nobody knows that better than you.
I can assure you that. Yeah, he wasn't everybody's favorite. You know what I mean?
Did you have any problems working with him in the ring, or was it just personality?
No, it just you know, he was. I had a real close friend named Joe Gomez that he was just. Yeah. He just wasn't nice to people, and he took advantage of his position. If that makes sense.
The Warlord. With your boy right there, Harvey Whippleman.
Oh, there I go. Finally found room.
Harvey Whippleman, or Bruno, as you call him, is really probably one of the unsung heroes of WWE in present day. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, I'll tell you something. He's utilized and underappreciated. Does that make sense?
Yeah. He's
the all-time errand guy.
I've never been to a show with you where he wasn't running 100 miles an hour every day.
There's a suplex on the floor, so way ahead of its time. I need more credit for this stuff. Nobody was taking suplex.
Oh man, Sarge with a big exit right there.
Huh?
Sarge with a big exit right there.
Yeah. Sarge could work, man.
Yeah, I don't think I remember seeing Hogan suplex anybody on the floor. I think you're right on that. Great camera work.
Mm-hmm.
What was the biggest shock or adjustment for you when you went from WCW to the WWF? Was part of that the production, just as much as they put into lighting and rigging and the cameras and all that, or?
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, if you hadn't, and not having been there before, to see this and to actually be part of it. I mean, the studios in Stamford and all that, and of course, they're 10 times that now. I mean, they've built stuff since then that you can only imagine. It looks like something in downtown L.A. I mean, they've got, you know, studio after studio and warehouse after warehouse of cameras and, you know, technology stuff. just keeping the network updated. That's a daily deal.
Sure.
I actually haven't been up there in over a year, but it's amazing. Everybody, well, you've known it and you've done it. Everybody needs to go through Titan Tower one time. I mean, that's just,
I agree.
Just what it is. Look at the memorabilia, the pictures, and the guy he keeps it. You'd think that Donald Trump owned it. I mean, it's that nice.
So we're getting to the nitty-gritty now. Piper just eliminated with Martell. So we've got 4 in the ring: Macho Man, Sid, Hogan, and Flair.
Mm-hmm.
Warlord's out. Everybody's out. We're down to these 4. And there goes Macho. Assist to Flair. Man, this flew by. I know we're getting near the end, and this was a lot faster and a lot more fun than I imagined.
Well, you had to be there.
There's your spot right there. And there goes Hogan. Sid Justice making a kind of heel deal, throwing Hulk Hogan out. Man, look at the fans. I think they all had Hogan pegged here. They thought Hogan was winning for sure. Dirtiest player in the game. And, of course, everybody's listening to us now rather than the commentary. but Bobby Heenan is losing his mind.
I'm losing mine. I can't believe after being basically reduced to nothing in WCW to becoming the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Pretty big moment in my life. You can see that scar is still pretty prominent there, isn't it?
Yeah,
from my back, there. Yeah.
So when you found out earlier in the day that you were winning, would this have been something you would have called Beth and said, hey, get the pay-per-view and gather the kids around? Or would you have cared to do that?
Well, Ashley and Reed were too young.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Let me see. And my older kids, it was one of those times where I had nowhere to go with them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was going to work the next day. It's hard. That's a tough question. I mean, look at the ring there now. It's got Renee Goulet in it. It's got
Pat Patterson with dark hair.
Yeah, Tony Garea. Oh my God, look at Pat. God. Yeah, look at Pat. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I think the kids more started following stuff later when I went back to WCW, and then of course in my last run from 2001 to 2008 with the company.
So does this kind of, since you're the champ and you just won the belt, they're not even really focusing on that now. They're focusing on Sid and Hogan trying to set up WrestleMania. Is this something that pisses you off, or do you care? Because
no, I didn't care. I didn't think about it. Everybody, that's one of the most popular questions I've heard. I get asked all the time. I was never upset that I didn't wrestle Hulk. Nobody promised me I was wrestling Hulk. It didn't work out for a number of reasons, but none of them left me in a bad position. I wrestled Randy Savage. I mean, Randy and I had a much better match with Randy than Sid and Hulk had. You know what I mean? We
ought to do this again, WrestleMania week, for that match with you and Randy. But I meant specifically, not necessarily that you weren't wrestling Hogan at WrestleMania, but normally when there's a new champion, that's the focus.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, regarded as being the best Rumble and everybody's favorite. But immediately after the match, rather than it being all about you winning the belt, it's still about Hogan and Sid. Mm-hmm. And online, that annoyed a lot of people.
Yeah, but look at that Hall of Fame crew I'm sitting with right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and a lot of people, myself included, think this is one of your very best promos. And I know that if they're listening to us, they're not hearing it now, but they should go back and listen to it. With a tear in my eye is the way you start. It's awesome. Yeah.
Well, here's the deal. I'm with Bobby Heenan, Curt Hennig, and Gene Okerlund. You know, 3 very close friends, 3 people I think the world of. As a matter of fact, me and Gene and you and I and Wendy will be tipping one up on Thursday of WrestleMania week. Gene gets in at 6. Wendy gets in at 2:30. You and I will be 3 in before they get there. Yeah, but I mean, look at that right there. Look at Curt. I'm really close to Curt's son, and the guy that he's getting a little bit of a break now finally on Raw with that group. It's actually pretty entertaining. So, but important to see what Bobby's gone through health-wise and that, and Gene's got a bad wheel right now, a bad hip, and he's on his 3rd kidney. So, make no mistake, I left Gene Okerlund off the drinking agenda for the night after this party, after this interview. Yeah, Gene was right there too at the bar. Yeah, straight up dirty, a little bit of olive juice, and two olives stuffed with Roquefort cheese, please.
Hey, so let me ask you, as far as world title wins, where does this rank? Obviously, I would think it's below the first one when you won the NWA.
It's funny. This would be number 2.
Yeah.
The Starrcade with Harley when I won it for the second time would be number 1.
Right.
And then this would be number 2.
Awesome as that.
Yeah.
Well, Rick, this was fun. That's the end of the 1992 Royal Rumble. We're just a couple of days away from the Rumble again, and a new champion will be crowned. And no matter how it shakes out, it won't be the first time that the person who won the Rumble won the world title, and it probably won't be regarded as being the greatest Rumble ever because 1992 will still exist. And I hope everybody enjoyed this as much as I did. And this was fun, Rick. We should do this with some other matches.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to tell you something. This thing, this coming Sunday is going to be huge. I mean, they've got the components. I mean, Brock is in it, and a lot of guys looking to, with all the injuries, we have some guys that are going to have to really step up to the table, and I think it's going to be great. I mean, I'm thrilled to be there, and of course, Charlotte's got the big match with Becky Lynch, and it's going to be a big deal, sold out. And I'll be waiting a text from you in the next 5 minutes as to what time you're coming into town to meet me and Wendy tonight. Let me know who you want me to call. I'll make it for you.
Woo, woo, woo,
woo. Thank you, Conrad.
Thanks, Rick.
Love you, buddy. See you soon.
You too, man. See you soon. Thanks for listening to Woo Nation. We'll see you next week.
Woo Nation, thank you. Woo!